The following episode of General Geekery contains spoiler warnings for the Batman with Robert Pattinson. We will be talking about major plot points, character development, and other big events that happen in this movie. If you have not seen this film yet, we at the General Geekery podcast highly encourage you to stop this podcast right now, go to your local movie theater, get an extra large popcorn and an extra large soda, sit down, and enjoy the film. We'll wait here for you. No, we'll actually wait here for you. We have no problem sitting here for 3 hours. Do you think we have a problem sitting here for 3 hours while you go watch a movie? Well, we do. We got time. We ain't got time to waste. Future Donald, play the intro.
Target to pick up snacks.
Well done.
Yeah,
well done.
I know, but I mean, one does not simply swing by Target to pick up snacks. You have to, look at this.
Utilizing them.
I bought these earbuds there. I actually did need those. I did. But also, I left them in the car, but I bought like 10 scrunchies as well. But I resisted the temptation to buy more cute little baskets to store the stuff that I don't actually own.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I have more baskets than belongings, honestly.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and I got us some biscotti, which is a perfect snack for a podcast.
Perfect snack for a podcast on a very nice afternoon. Guys, it is the middle of March, and it is 70 degrees outside.
It is beautiful.
Oh, my God. It's criminal, almost. Speaking of criminals.
Wow, it's a biscotti.
She's taking a bite out of crime, ladies and gentlemen. Just like McGruff the crime dog.
I don't understand that reference. There's a biscotti on the table over there.
Oh, that's probably mine. We'll talk about it later. Anyway, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the General Geekery podcast. This is, of course, the podcast where we love to geek out about all that we love to geek out about with no remorse.
No regrets.
And with all of the enthusiasm in the world.
Indeed. Coffee in hand.
We are your hosts, as always. I am Donald Kaczynski, your resident coffee ninja by day, actor, gamer, streamer by night. And joining me, as always, she is our resident artiste extraordinaire, dice slinger magnificent, and our video game inept, the one and only Hannah Kubiak.
Hello. It is I, Hannah Kubiak, the video game inept.
So, this episode is a little bit of a...
I've never recorded anything before.
In that monotone voice.
Yes.
So
then I realized I was not human.
So this episode is a little bit of a continuation from our Batman discussion earlier this month. Please go check out episode 109, talking all about the Batman. And during it, me and Hannah got into a little discussion about the Robert Pattinson Batman film, which was releasing that week, and we had not gone to see yet. And I actually convinced Hannah that we needed to go see it. Well, we saw it.
Yeah. For somebody who didn't know that this movie existed until like a little while ago, like I enjoyed it. Wait a minute. Is this episode 11D1?
111, yes.
Whoa. That's awesome. But yeah, for my part, I enjoyed it. If you heard the other episode, you would know that I haven't really delved deep into the world of Batman. I have vague sort of memories from my childhood and middle school of watching different movies. I remember struggling not to fall asleep at the end of Batman Begins when I was really little. I don't remember how.
Mm-hmm.
So I just have random snippets of like Danny DeVito eating fish grossly and stuff. But so I'm not as well versed in Batman stuff. I still get like references and stuff. Like I know who the characters are, basically.
So this must have been a more interesting thing for you because the Batman, this is basically a reboot. Mm-hmm. Like starting all the way from like back at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Where, first, a little bit of context on the film. So the film was directed by Matt Reeves, who is more commonly associated with other film projects such as Let Me In and Cloverfield, as well as the second and third film of the Planet of the Apes reboot series.
Okay, so he's worked with Andy Serkis before.
He has worked with Andy Serkis before.
And he didn't make him do mocap this time.
Andy Serkis didn't do mocap, guys. He's such a great actor. Just give him an Oscar already.
Yep. Oh, in The Prestige as well, he didn't use mocap.
Indeed. And the Batman film, this film takes inspiration from several different Batman stories. Primarily, it takes place. It borrows inspiration from two in particular that I specifically know: the Year One storyline and the Long Halloween storyline.
Okay, yeah, that sounds familiar from what I gathered in my research.
Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of pedigree behind it, and a lot of love and care given into this Batman film.
Mm-hmm. I did not mind it.
I
enjoyed it. In fact,
I did too.
Now, right. Let's go over some of the people who are in it.
Robert Pattinson, of course, is
the Batman.
Portrays Batman / Bruce Wayne.
Yep.
When it was originally announced, like before the initial trailers first started airing back in 2020, when it was announced that DC Comics and Warner Brothers were doing these standalone superhero films after the 2017 film Justice League flopped.
Oh gosh.
So hard because they were trying to.
I didn't even know that movie existed, the Justice League.
Well, DC Comics, because of how successful the MCU was, DC was trying to rush their own cinematic universe.
Right.
And aside from Wonder Woman, it all kind of fell flat on its face.
Right.
And the 2017 film Justice League was the cream of the crop pile of dung.
Cream of the crop pile of dung. Love it.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff contributing to what happened with that film. I mean, it switched directors halfway through because Zack Snyder had a family tragedy and he had to bow out.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of stuff was wrong with it. We eventually got the full Snyder cut of that film, which actually is very, very decent, even though it's 4 hours long. Holy gee. Yeah.
It's not that long.
I mean, you and me have watched.
That's like an extended edition of a Lord of the Rings movie.
I was about to say, you and me are used to watching extended versions of Lord of the Rings, via marathon, so we're used to that.
Yep, we grew up watching movies that had to be put on 2 VHSs.
Yes, exactly.
If you know what VHS is.
But
if you knew what an 8-track tape looked like. That Spotify ad lady annoys me no end.
I will stab you, Spotify ad lady.
Thinking about coming back to Spotify Premium? No, that's a good idea.
Bro.
And that other one where it's when you had Premium, you were in control. I'm I'm still in control. I could choose to stop listening to this anytime.
That is technically true.
Continue.
I've been in those car rides. I have seen her yell at it. But yeah, the Justice League film kind of put a stop to major stop to any planned universe, and DC started focusing on individual stories more often. That's where we got the solo Shazam film. That's where we got the second Wonder Woman film. That's where we got
Shazam, I did see that.
That's where we got Joker with Joaquin Phoenix. That
was pretty good.
And
have we talked about that?
We have not talked about it. That's going to have to be another day.
Okay.
But then we got, and it also led to The Batman with Robert Pattinson. Now, a lot of people were really skeptical about this because immediately when you think Robert Pattinson, what's the first thing that you think of?
I think of him beating a seagull to death against a rock.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You watched Lighthouse before we went to go see Batman. That's right.
Yes, I did. Well, because you had recommended it or mentioned it in our episode. Last time we recorded about Batman, I literally went home and watched The Lighthouse just because I was like, this was on my list and I'm going to watch it, damn it.
Right. To a more casual movie viewer audience, when you think Robert Pattinson, you either think of Cedric Diggory from Harry Potter or more commonly, Edward from Twilight.
From Twilight?
Yes. So, it's a stigma that he still kind of has, like, when you're part of a franchise like that and you carry that stigma.
Yeah, or, like, you're kind of just always associated with that one character that you played for such a long time.
Exactly.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'm glad that he's finding other stuff to do and is, like, seems pretty successful in it as well, you know? Like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people, when they're in sort of, like, you know, like, I haven't, like, read any of these things, but I heard it just, like, the experience of filming Twilight was, like, very, very uncomfortable and weird and stuff. And I'm like, I'm glad that he's, like, still acting after that.
Yeah, because a lot of people sometimes when they come back, like, come out of, like, franchise like that, either their career skyrockets, their careers, like, waylaid, or they revert down to, like, smaller projects. I mean, Rupert Grint, who played Ron Weasley in Harry Potter, hasn't really done too many, like, big projects ever since, like, Harry Potter ended.
Yeah. I think it was something like, he was like, yeah, you know, like, I got this role when I was a kid, and, been acting for years and stuff, but, you know, it's not for me, really.
He got out of the business.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I mean, good for him. Yeah, he made a bunch of money making 8 movies from when he was like 9 years old.
Like two to three of them grossing over $1 billion.
Yeah, and then it's just sort of like, you don't. At that point, if you don't really want to be an actor, then you don't have to be anymore. You can just, you know, live off the interest of your Harry Potter funds. But yeah, I always like to see people who, when they were in movies and stuff, when they were younger, I like to see them sort of go forward and do other projects as they sort of, like, as they become an adult. You know, is it kind of? I like to see that there are young people out there who can, well, not really get through the meat grinder of Hollywood unscathed, but at least survive, you know.
Especially when they
keep on making good art and everything.
And especially if they don't rest on their laurels. Like, I still maintain that Robert Pattinson is a fantastic actor. Like,
he is.
And the reason why I recommended The Lighthouse to you with him and Willem Dafoe is because both of them are fantastic in it.
Yeah.
And I thought that would be, like, a perfect kind of, like, segue, like, going into the Batman, because...
And it's, like, it's a shame that, like, maybe people have only really seen him in Twilight. I think that, like...
Well, that's because of, like, more casual movie audiences. Like, that's the kind of, like, stigma of... That's a bad stigma that a lot of, like, of movie has.
Yeah.
Like, if you're just a casual moviegoer and you only see, like, the big-named films and stuff like that... That's unfortunately, like, something that is a stigma that cannot be easily shaken.
Yeah. Okay. Shall we talk about kind of the premise of this movie and the plot and everything?
Yes.
And then I want to talk a little bit more about, like, the people involved, but...
So, general synopsis, then.
Yeah. General synopsis by General Geekery.
So, the film starts off with a... The film starts off with Bruce Wayne, a.k.a. Batman, a.k.a. Robert Pattinson, giving a narrated overview, which is not at all common for movies like this, of, like, some backstory of, like, what sets him up. I think a strong point of this film is that we don't see the death of Thomas and Martha Wayne, Bruce's parents. That it's been played to death.
Yep.
It's part of Batman's lore. It's basically common knowledge.
Yep. Yeah, so we know it, so we don't really need to...
Instead, we're told through narration and through the expressions of, like, criminals on the street that it's been 2 years since Bruce Wayne started his crusade as Batman.
Right.
And and even though he has started this war against crime has not gone down. In fact, it has escalated. Yep.
Yeah, and, like... there was this fantastic bookend that, like, it's... I'm not really a fan of like, it seems kind of campy to me, kind of that I am vengeance thing, when they're like, who are you? I was just kind of like, oh my gosh, please, just punch me in the face, why don't you? But there was a pretty good bookend with that, where that kind of tied together sort of what a hero actually is.
Yeah, because
the hero isn't supposed to be vengeance. A hero is supposed to be like a sign of hope for other people, basically.
Exactly, and we'll get into more of that as we're talking about the characters. But after these 2 years, a string of murders start happening by a mass murderer that is being dubbed the Riddler, played by Paul Dano.
Paul Dano, yep.
Who, my God, it was unnerving.
He was very unnerving.
Very unnerving.
I mean, if you look at his photo he has on IMDb, you're just kind of like, oh, what a sweet looking guy, you know, like I'd like to be his friend. And then you see him in this movie, and he's just the most creepy, the creepy ass, like.
It's unsettling.
It's very unsettling.
Very
when I think that they had him singing Ave Maria for a little bit too long. I think that that's kind of there was a certain point just there where I was like, where it started off being really creepy, and then I was like, this is actually kind of funny.
Well, I mean, that's kind of like how it is, because like it's funny, but it's also uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that's basically like what Riddler basically is. Like honestly, I mean, outside of like the campiness that you would see from like Riddler and like some of the original source material, and even in like cartoons and stuff, they nailed his personality almost down pat. He's obsessed with being a center of attention.
Yeah.
Which comes across like how this happened in the movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there was that whole like the preoccupation with social media and like live streaming your kills and stuff. It's just so disturbing that just like any wacko could have a platform, you know?
Which I find incredibly engaging, because I think more often than any other villain in his rogues gallery, in Batman's rogues gallery, Riddler is one that seems to like advance more as like the ages go on. Like he started off with a man who was like good at riddles and stuff like that, but as like time progressed and like society has become more and more advanced, different backstories of the Riddler shows that he is basically, shows that he's like a mathematical and a computer genius. He can do all of these things.
Yep. Genius.
Which,
the greater the intellect, the greater potential for like amazing, brilliant, like wonderful discoveries, or just complete chaos. You know,
that
was very badly articulated, but basically, if you're really, really, really smart, you could be really, really good, but you could also be really, really bad.
Yep. That basically describes a character who changes his last name to Nigma.
Yep. Edward Nigma.
Mr. E. Nigma.
Yep.
I'm sorry, we had to do it.
I love it.
But they decided to give him the his original name was, like, in certain source materials, Edward Nash, and I believe he did change Nash to like Nigma at certain points. Again, I'm not too.
Was it Nash? Or was it
Nashton or
something?
something?
Was it Norton?
Nashton or Norton or something like that.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Nashton. Because I wonder... Because I know that John Nash is a really, really...
Nashton.
A really, really prominent... Oh, Nashton. Okay, because John Nash is a really prominent mathematician who actually... I think he had schizophrenia or something. And that movie, A Beautiful Mind, is about him.
Yeah.
Like how he kind of starts to hear things and see things, and it kind of interferes with his work and with his life. Very interesting movie.
Oh yeah. So
just thought it was cool because Riddler's a mathematician in this as well, isn't he?
He's also... They also showed, like, his beyond sociopathic tendencies.
Oh my gosh, such a sociopath. Like, you look at him and immediately you know that he's just... There's something off.
You want to know something amazing? Like, for me, as I was watching the film... Have you ever seen the movie Seven?
Yeah.
He reminded me of Kevin Spacey's character in Seven.
Yeah,
like,
now that I think about it. Just like, the series of crimes that have sort of a overarching theme, you know?
And his entire plan, which involved him getting caught, which was like the final like phase to everything.
Yeah, pretty much. And like, okay, the Riddler is this killer who goes after Gotham's elite, and he leaves these cryptic clues for Batman to follow, and that's how he gets into the he gets in on the case. Gordon brings him in because there's a letter at the murder of the mayor that is says to the Batman, and it's got a cute little riddle inside, in a nice little homemade card. So cute. Mm-hmm. Just getting, you gotta send out your letters to your friends every once in a while. I gotta find this because...
Which I gotta say, speaking of Gordon, props to Jeffrey Wright playing James Gordon. That was phenomenal. Like, don't get me wrong, I love what they did with Commissioner Gordon in the Dark Knight trilogy, but that's also mainly because Gary Oldman is like one of my favorite actors of all time.
Oh, yeah.
But Jeffrey Wright did fantastic, and he plays off well with Robert Pattinson. Like they are together for a good majority of the film.
Yeah, they have a lot of scenes together.
Like he spends more time with Gordon. Batman spends more time with Gordon than Alfred.
Yeah, in the movie at least. Okay, but apparently the director Matt Reeves, he took a lot of inspiration for his Riddler. From the Zodiac Killer. Like, this is a composite sketch made in 1969, based on some eyewitnesses of the Zodiac Killer.
Yep.
Just a dude with giant glasses. I want to find a picture of one of the cards he sent to the police, because it looks it's very eerily similar to some of the stuff that we saw in
Which is one thing, like, we haven't, like, talked about, like, with this movie. Like, the movie is played out, like... It's played out like a murder mystery. Like,
yeah, exactly. And you don't really...
Like, again, one of Matt Reeves' inspirations for this was, like, Alfred Hitchcock mysteries.
Yeah. And, and there being sort of like this sort of symbol that sort of represents the Riddler.
The question mark, which was in the latte art in the...
I love it. You're going to learn how to do that latte art, yeah?
I don't even know if that's even technically possible, like, free form. Like, honestly, you need, like, a tool in order to be able to manipulate the microfoam for that.
Oh, yeah.
I could try, though.
Yeah. But here's the symbol that the Zodiac Killer signed his letters with. Just like a crosshair kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. And he left like a bunch of letters, like ciphers that had like upwards of 130 different characters. Mm-hmm. You know, so it's not like this symbol corresponds to A, this symbol corresponds to B. It was just like very, very, very complex. Mm-hmm. You know, and so I don't know. I don't know if maybe the actual Zodiac Killer was some sort of mathematical genius as well. But here it is.
Who knows?
Here's a card he sent to one of the detectives who was investigating him. It's just like a little skeleton with a pumpkin, and it says, "From your secret pal."
Paradise slays by fire, by gun, by rope, by knife. Dang.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, and there's like a... Yeah, it's like I feel it in my bones. You ache to know my name, and so I'll clue you in. Yeah.
Can you please send that to me?
Yes, I could do that.
I'll put that on a social media post.
Yep.
But, oh my god. So yeah, the movie takes a lot of inspiration from, like, notes like that. Like, so much slow. Like, honestly, this is like one of the best Batman films in terms of like just details. Like you blink and you miss it kind of details. Like I'm already planning on going to see the movie again just because there's so much in there that I want to rewatch.
Right.
I honestly think this movie is going to be better on a second viewing. So I'm excited for when that happens. I'm also actually going to purchase like a physical copy of it because like I want this movie. This is slowly becoming like my favorite Batman movie.
Yeah.
Slowly but surely. Like the more I talk about it.
I'm just glad that I didn't bring a large soda into that movie with me.
This talk about like me going out in one scene, didn't it?
No, I don't even remember you did that.
Fair enough. But so a lot of different interconnecting plot points happen while Batman is investigating this mystery. Eventually, we learn that Riddler is committing these crimes because he is he has figured out with his brain power on his own that there is basically a shadow over Gotham that rules over everything. The political offices, the police, the courts, everything. Yep. That he's trying to uncover. Alongside that,
they're all corrupted, basically.
Indeed. Alongside that, in the criminal underworld, Batman meets up with Selina Kyle, aka Catwoman, played by Zoe Kravitz. Well done, by the way.
Yeah.
Well done. That is dealing with her own problems and trying to get close to avenge her mom's death at the hands of her father, who turns out to be gangster. No, it wasn't.
Falcone.
Yeah, Falcone, played by John Turturro in this. I didn't even know that John Turturro was in this film.
Oh, now, and I just realized who he is. He's in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou, right?
Yep, he's in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou.
Got it. Okay, I knew there was a reason that he looked so familiar to me. Okay.
He's also one of the best. He's also like one of the only good parts of the Transformers movies.
That's right, because he works for like Area 7 or something.
Yeah, Sector 7 or anything like that.
Sector 7.
I am directly beneath the enemy's scrotum. He's done a lot of weird stuff.
I'm so childish.
He honestly might have a weirder IMDb page than Glenn Close, and that is saying something. That is saying a lot.
So it turns out that all of the all the Riddler's victims. I'm getting all mixed up now. So it turns out all the Riddler's victims had these corruption and secrets that the Riddler wanted to unmask, and he has this sort of slogan he wants to unmask the truth. And we eventually discover that Bruce Wayne is the Riddler's last target.
Who is somehow also is like interconnecting all this, and
because of Thomas Wayne's own corruption. Apparently, if your dad was corrupted, you got to pay for it, which doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I mean, he also showed later on, like in his own backstory, like Riddler said that he at that time he was an orphan, and the fund that Thomas Wayne promised that would help people like him never came. The fund was basically spread throughout the elite after.
They just kind of used it to sort of
further themselves,
fund whatever. They fund their drops.
Yep, to basically like fund their own like evil gains and everything.
So nobody helped the orphans.
And and everybody was like, "Oh, poor Bruce Wayne, poor." And this is Riddler's own words, by the way. Poor Bruce Wayne. So he wanted to kill Bruce Wayne because basically you were paying for the sins of your father.
Yeah.
Because you were an orphan like me, but you had money.
Yeah, and you grew up in a mansion and stuff, like above all of us. And everything. Yeah, like you don't really know what it's like to be an orphan. Which, like.
The interrogation scene, like, it's
very interesting.
It's kind of like unsettling, because you don't know what Nashton knows.
Yeah.
Like, you think that he's uncovered the identity of Batman. He's discovered that Bruce Wayne was Batman. But
does he know, or was he just talking about how he wasn't able to kill Bruce?
He wasn't able to kill Bruce.
But has he made the connection?
No, he hasn't.
Okay.
Because if he did make the connection, he would not have asked Batman to join his crusade.
Yeah. Okay. See, I thought that. I was like, I don't think he knew that they were the same person. But yeah, when you realize that a murderous weirdo idolizes you and started his string of serial killings because of you, that's harsh.
And it's around this time that Batman slowly realizes that what he has done, like what he questioned at the beginning of the film, is what I'm doing worth it?
Yeah, which...
Like, what am I doing wrong? He's being a symbol for the wrong reasons.
Yep, for vengeance. And I think, he like realizes this when, basically he's confronting a bunch of, like...
extremist followers of extremist followers of like the Riddler that are helping enact his plan to basically
from the
drown Gotham and basically kill those in power and plunge the city into further chaos.
Yeah, so
which technically it does at the end, but but I mean. Batman realizes he has to become more of a symbol of hope.
Yeah, because one of these extremists, when asked sort of like who are you anyway, he just responded, "I am vengeance," and it comes right back. It's like, oh my gosh, I am exactly the same as these people.
I don't remember. I need a double take on that, but there was like one of two people that was. I don't remember if that was the kid with the half face paint that was like right at the beginning of the film.
No.
Or if it was like the bitter old man that Bruce encountered during the commissioner's funeral.
I think it was the old man because it was an older person. That kid, I don't know if he showed up again.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like I could not tell like on first viewing, so I have to.
Hopefully he got spooked and didn't do any more of that Joker banging or whatever. Gang banging.
Oh my god. Like that opening...
Bang.
So, can we talk about that opening scene when Batman appears out of the darkness?
Sure.
Like, chills. Which I have to say, the fact that, hold on, I have to figure out who the music director was for this film.
Michael Giacchino or something.
I think so. Yep. Yeah, you're right.
Michael Giacchino.
Giacchino. Who has done some absolutely amazing, like, music work in the past couple years.
He's right up there with Hans Zimmer as one of those people those composers whose name you recognize.
well, I mean, he's it's not one that you recognize, but like he's contributed a lot. I mean, he's contributed to several different Pixar films. Like, speaking of Star Wars, he did the soundtrack for Rogue One.
Oh, okay.
I had to re-look him up. Mm-hmm. One of the themes that like plays is like a reorchestration of, if I'm not mistaken, the Danny Elfman Batman theme from the 1980s from Tim Burton.
Oh,
like
I don't know enough about that.
I picked up on it a little bit because I noticed like certain like melodies and notes,
right?
Which I'm like, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, oh my god, this is the Danny Elfman Batman theme. Oh my god.
Oh man.
But that opening scene when he comes out of like the dark tunnel when these basically gang guys are ready to beat up this like random like innocent civilian,
random guy on the train, yeah.
And they come up to him, and then the first guy that comes up, Batman just pounds him.
Uh-huh.
And that was a scene that we saw in the trailers.
Yeah.
In like the very first trailer.
Was it that one, or was it the one where...
No, it was that one.
At the, like the embassy or whatever. Okay, because I remember seeing commercials where it was like, you know, where the only lighting was like the machine gun fire, and you can see it like, basically... them like firing right at his chest, and he's just walking toward them.
That was the first theatrical trailer. Like the original teaser trailer that they showed at a DC fandom back in like 2020, when only like they had only like 25% of the movie shot.
Yeah.
Was that opening scene when the gang members are trying to attack him, and then Batman does
Yep, just beats the hell out of him.
And says, "I am vengeance," and it's
Yeah.
like, oh.
I like the fact also that a lot of these sort of action movies, you see these heroes don't really have a problem with fighting a bunch of people, but like in this movie, like I liked the kind of realism of the fact that there's so many of them, and they get their hits in every once in a while, you know.
That's also
and some of them just like some of them get really good hits in, yeah.
Well, a lot of it is because of the fact, like we said, this is like into 2 years that Batman has done it. His fighting style in this film is not as like refined as like Christian Bale's Batman in the Dark Knight trilogy.
It's a little more just like beat down, drag out kind of.
Because as we figured out, Alfred was the one who trained him. Alfred in this version has more military experience.
Secret Service or something.
Yeah, he like British Secret Service, stuff like that, which has been like one of like Alfred's like backstories in like comics and TV shows. And so it plays heavily into that, but I think the biggest thing is for this Batman in particular, I think is honestly just how they handled Bruce Wayne.
Oh yeah, I was talking about this. So you don't see him out of the suit very much, but I loved it every time. He's like, it's very different. Like Batman is really intimidating and like takes up so much room and stuff, and then like Bruce is a little bit more. He looks like a traumatized, reclusive, insomniac young man who never sees the light of day. Like,
yeah.
I mean, hiring a British actor was genius in that regard. But if you need someone to be white as fuck, you gotta go to England.
Oh my god.
But yeah, and just like the way that he carried himself as Bruce as well, and like his voice was actually really soft when he was Bruce, and he always looked like he'd had a really rough night, which is true, you know, like very different from the Christian Bale who shows up to parties with a supermodel on each arm and stuff. Like, well, this guy is younger and stuff. He has.
Well, you saw it like during the funeral scene where Bruce attends like the funeral, and you see like he is so socially awkward.
Yeah. He doesn't know he can't deal with.
He has forgotten how to be Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He doesn't have like that flip on a dime like double persona like other Batman portrayals have. He's not like the billionaire playboy philanthropist that Christian Bale's version was, or like how he's portrayed like as a double life in like the DC animated series in the 1990s and the early 2000s.
Almost like he knows how to be Batman, but he doesn't know how to be Bruce Wayne.
He's basically devoted his life to this crusade, and it shows that he doesn't even care about like running Wayne Enterprises, that in other versions of Batman he cares so much for, because it is part of his father's legacy.
Yeah, and he just doesn't have time for it. Like,
and not that he doesn't have time for it. He doesn't see it as a necessity.
Yes.
Because we see it a lot, and like the introduction of his Batcave is very bare bones. Mm-hmm. It's not like the technological wonders that you like see in other.
It's literally a cave with a desk and a rickety elevator, basically, and a couple of screens.
Yeah, like.
Oh
it's
man,
it's incredible.
Yeah, but I love it, and just.
And I was surprised, like how many people. I was actually talking with a couple of people about this. So many people were like, I can't believe like they got Bruce Wayne wrong in this. I'm like, what the heck are you talking about?
No!
This is basically how Bruce Wayne started as Batman in like some of the earlier comics as well. This actually does come from legitimate source material.
Yeah, and like it makes sense that if he grew up as as an orphan, you know, in this big manor, you know, that he probably didn't really interact with other people his age very much, or just really anybody. And even when he did, no one treated him normally, you know. Like, he was always that, like, that kid whose parents got killed. So as far as, like, normal social interaction, it was basically non-existent for him.
Yep.
So I actually, this portrayal of Bruce Wayne, I liked.
And now that he's
the kid cleans up good for a funeral as well, I have to say.
Indeed. And, like, I look at it this way. This is, like, literally, like, this is where he will begin his journey to possibly become the Batman that we most associate, the casual audience associate with the character. The high-tech gadgets, the fluid, like, fighting style, everything that goes with that character, because we see him screw up a lot in this. He doesn't have, like, a lot of fancy gadgets. Like, he's got the batarangs, he's got the grappling hook.
He's got his flying squirrel suit.
The flying squirrel stuff, which he crashes.
Yep, actually.
Not a graceful landing.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, like, what did he landed on a bus. His parachute snagged on a bridge, and he just got flung.
And he lost his cape.
He got flung.
It shows that it's like he's
time to limp home, I guess.
He's not. There's no gracefulness in it.
Yeah, no, it's literally just.
Also, can we talk about
just like a junkyard dog?
I think in my opinion, this might be my favorite live action Batman suit. I love how this suit looks.
Yeah.
Like, so often, like, Batman suits will just look so wrong or just so off-putting or so corny with big giant ass cheeks and bat nipples. Ugh.
Oh goodness. Do bats have nipples?
I don't want to know.
I think they're mammals.
Let me put it this way.
Oh yeah, bats have nipples.
Let me put it this way. Don't watch the Batman film with George Clooney.
Oh dear.
Unless you want to hear Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze do ice puns.
Oh my gosh. You got to chill.
Oh no.
That was just off the top of my head.
No one tell her about the Ice Age pun.
I can go on.
Anyway, but yeah, and I think for me, one of the biggest, like, strength of this film, it draws a lot on the Batman comics other than, like, certain, like, big name villains. It draws on, like, a lot of, like, the lower name characters that casual audience won't associate to make this real.
Yeah.
Like, Carmine Falcone, who was portrayed by John Turturro.
Carmine, that's his name.
Yeah, I had to re-look it up, too, because I forgot the first name. Is actually integral to, like, Batman's history, because he is a friend, associate of the Wayne family. And he plays heavily in the Batman Year One story.
Oh. Interesting.
And not only that, they also name drop several other, like, mobsters as well. Like, Sal Maroni, who was Maroni, who was the gang leader that they drug busted in order to have Falcone gain all the power. In the comics, Maroni was responsible for the birth of Robin.
Wow.
Of Dick Grayson. A lot of like mobster characters that aren't like the supervillains that Batman faces, but are still like big integral characters to the Batman mythos.
Yeah.
And we even get like a pretty good proper Penguin. Colin Farrell as Penguin.
See, you had told me that that's who was playing it, and I didn't even remember that.
You can't even recognize him.
No.
Complete character. I did not see Colin Farrell. I saw Penguin.
Yeah.
That was the Penguin.
Oh my gosh, that was ridiculous.
That car chase scene, though.
That was so extra.
It was so extra, but I love it. It's so good.
Oh my gosh. Imagine. I can't even imagine being just like a person driving home from work. That happening around you. Oh Oh, man. Oh, gosh. Yeah. There's mayhem and destruction.
So good.
Yeah, and okay, another thing that I really appreciated was the through line with the little boy, the son of the mayor.
Oh,
where
yeah.
It was kind of like he sort of I mean it's pretty on the nose that he sees himself in this kid because the kid is like lost a parent violently, like found the body and stuff, just super traumatized.
I think that was a very good a better through line to like relate Bruce to like his parents' death than actually showing the death.
Right.
Like we've seen the deaths of we've seen their deaths in so many different things, like through the Dark Knight trilogy and other things. Like we get it.
Yeah.
They were killed in an alley on the way back from an opera. Just
Yep. And what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and I think that through that boy he kind of sees like oh, this is what I really needed was like something to be hopeful about instead of this sort of this burning desire for vengeance, you know. And I liked that at the end, like, because a lot of people had been kind of afraid of him for a while, and then he started helping with the evacuations and everything and getting people out. And there was that one lady on the stretcher who on the helicopter he put on the stretcher, and she
did not want to let go of him.
Grabbed him. She's like, don't leave me. No. He's like, you're gonna be okay. It's fine. And I'm like, oh, this big man in black, so gentle.
There's so many powerful moments in this movie that. Oh God, I want to go watch it again. I'm not no lie. I legitimately want to go watch it again.
You know, now that I've talked about it a little bit more, I'd be down for that too.
But
anything else we want to say?
Any other kind of like notable like scenes or performances or like details that stood out for you? We haven't really talked about Catwoman that much.
Not very much, no. I mean, I found she was interesting. Like she was a badass woman. I kind of wish that she had a little bit more depth because we kind of just see like she's kind of just very very ragey, sort of.
Well,
but
I look at it this way. We talked a lot about how Batman Bruce Wayne is finding a lot about himself as time goes on. I think this is also kind of the start where Selina finds out more about herself as well. There's always been this push and pull kind of relationship always with like Batman and Catwoman.
Right, yeah.
But both of them are still like trying to figure out like who they are, what they want. Like they're both very much in that mindset of like they're basically in the eye of a hurricane.
Right.
And they don't know what's going to happen to them when they get out of it.
Yeah.
So even though at the end like they follow each other down, but they go their separate ways as Selina leaves Gotham and Bruce stays to basically be its Dark Knight once more.
Yeah.
There's... Which I gotta say, I'm so glad that they did not hook them up.
Yeah.
Like, there's always that, like, temptation, but that's the thing with Batman. Like, it's all... For him, it's always, like, Gotham and everything.
Yeah.
And
like, that's going to be a constant distraction. You can never really fully commit to a relationship or anything when he has all that he has to do.
He's never really... It's almost impossible for him to, like, even, like, settle down. And he's had a lot of love interests, like, in, like, the past. Like, some well-known ones, some not-so-well-known ones. One of my favorite ones comes from an animated movie called Mask of the Phantasm, where before he was even Batman, he was willing to give up being Batman to go on this crusade because he found happiness with another person. And he lost it, and he became Batman.
That's that's the worst when you when you've had something and then you lose it,
and then you gain something back, and then only to lose it again.
Yep.
So, yeah, there's a lot of talk about, like, possibly continuing on this universe. Apparently, Colin...
Aren't there, like, two... They're planning on doing, like, two sequels or something.
I think so. And I think they're doing, like, their own, like, spin-off, like, series with Colin Farrell's Penguin.
Oh, my gosh. Okay, yeah, I did see that they were doing some sort of series as well, but I didn't really know.
It is intended to launch a Batman shared universe with 2 sequels planned and 2 spin-off television series in development for HBO Max.
Oh, HBO, that's right.
Thanks, HBO.
Woo!
Now you have more than Game of Thrones.
Yay!
I also like this, like the hints that they give, like a lot of different small-time things in Batman lore. Like you had the 2 twin bouncers
right.
in front for the Ice Lounge, which is kind of hilarious because Penguin always has like 2 twin somethings with him at all times in terms of human beings, either in terms of bodyguards. In the in one of the Batman animated series, he basically had 2 kabuki like kunoichis with him.
Oh.
That one was kind of fun.
Get himself a pair of fishmongers.
Something like that. And in the Batman Arkham video games, when he eventually becomes the crime kingpin of Gotham, he has, if I'm not mistaken, he has like 2 twin secretaries with him that basically go into like basically help and control the territories and stuff.
Dude.
Hey, what can I say?
Yeah.
Just don't call Cobblepot Penguin. He will f you up. F you up good.
Cobblepot?
That's his name.
Yeah, I know it's his name.
Oswald Cobblepot.
Oswald Cobblepot.
Call me Ozzy.
Oh my gosh.
As soon as he said that, I'm like, oh, this is Penguin. This is so Penguin, it hurts.
Oz. Oh man.
So I would love to see a lot more from this universe. We got a little glimpse of like what could be the Joker. Mm-hmm. It's a small it's a small cameo, but you know,
I mean,
you don't have to lead too heavily into it.
No.
Another big thing was like the drug stimulant that Batman used to like surge himself up in order to like fight it.
Yeah.
That is, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's an allusion to the drug known as Venom in the Batman universe, which is closely associated with the character Bane.
Okay. Is that the drug that makes people really, really, really thirsty for milk?
No.
Okay, I don't know what I was thinking of then.
So
there was something, I remember something of somebody in some Batman thing taking this drug, and then they go to like a corner store and like drink all of the milk in the entire cooler or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, that's just a weird thing in my brain. But yeah, just like give yourself an adrenaline shot. So
but basically, Venom in DC Comics is like a drug that when it's brought into like your system, bulges your muscles and roids you out. Oh, yeah. Like, you know how Bane is always shown as like a very muscly imposed figure? I
didn't see that movie, but
the Dark Knight trilogy version of Bane doesn't really have the Venom aspect to him, so...
Okay. I don't know of any other Bane stuff besides just that movie that I haven't seen.
But yeah, he... So yeah, there's a potential allusion to like that kind of like a storyline with Venom and possibly referring to Bane. Mm-hmm. There's so many different routes that they can go with this now that they basically have a clean slate. They've established this new Gotham and how it is and how it has ended.
Yeah.
This film does not end on a happy note.
No, not really.
A hopeful note, but not a happy one.
Yeah.
A lot has happened. For a minute there, I thought we almost killed off Alfred.
Yep, I thought so too.
I was trying to
fight. Like, what the hell?
I was trying to fight back tears. I'm like, don't you do this. I kind of
figured, I was like, okay, he probably won't. They probably won't kill off Alfred, but that scene when he visited him in the hospital was so sweet.
That's one thing we haven't talked about. So Thomas and Martha Wayne, Bruce's parents, are always treated like saints in the continuity.
Yeah.
They don't introduce them like that in this one.
No.
Like, major faults happened.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Thomas Wayne was trying to run for mayor. It was, and a reporter discovered that Martha, who was his wife, had a history of like mental abuse and was actually mental illness and was like institutionalized for a time.
Yeah.
Thomas tried to get the reporter to silence it. The reporter was going to go public with it, which made him turn to Falcone in order to try to get him to not spill the beans, and he apparently killed him. For a minute there, I actually thought, before the orphan thing with Riddler, I thought Riddler was going to be the... I thought they were going to introduce Riddler as, like, the reporter.
Oh, no.
I thought that that's the route that they were possibly going to go with this.
No, he was just probably one of the little choir boy in the background in one of the mayoral elections.
Indeed.
He still had that cherubic voice, even at the age of whatever.
Quite so.
40, I don't know.
But,
I just ordered some pumpkin pie.
Oh, God. But that entire... Oh, my God. Well, like, the scene where... the two direct scenes. When Bruce goes as Bruce Wayne to talk to Falcone about, like, the truth of what happened, thinking that his parents betrayed him and everything was a lie, and him confronting Alfred, like... with tears is like, you do not understand. Mm-hmm. And I love that they still keep ambiguous, like, who actually killed, like, Bruce's parents.
Yeah.
Like, if that's, like, a mystery that they'll possibly, like, go down, like, as... If they're going to continue with Robert Pattinson as Batman, please come back for more. Pattinson, your portrayal of Batman is incredible. Please come back for more.
Yes.
I am begging you.
Yes, I enjoyed it. It was good.
Like, this has been an incredible... This was a great movie. I still need to find out for myself if it is better for me as my favorite Batman film over The Dark Knight. It's definitely
hard to tell. Hard to say.
It is definitely a contender for one of the best live-action Batman films.
Yeah. Dark Knight is pretty good.
Dark
Knight is pretty solid.
It's hard because... Heath Ledger, especially in that movie, ties that entire movie in a knot perfectly.
Yeah, just... it's insane.
Like, there's a lot of plot holes in both both of these films. Mm-hmm. But Ledger's portrayal is as damn near as perfect as a villain portrayal as you can get.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty good.
We gotta do an episode on the Dark Knight trilogy one of these days.
Yeah, at some point. There's just so many... we just gotta watch things and talk about them. Watch things and talk about them. That's basically what we do anyway, actually, is watch things and talk about them.
General Geekery reaction videos when we're planning on it.
Yep.
we just have to figure everything out.
Yep. Gotta figure out what direction we're going to take.
Soon.
Yeah.
Soon. But I think we can cap it off with that.
I think we can cap it off. Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for listening to us talking about our spoiler thoughts and opinions on the Batman. Hopefully you watched the movie before before you listened to us. So, if you were spoiled, oops.
We did.
Sorry.
You can't say we didn't warn you.
We did warn you with Hannah singing Ave Maria in the background.
Yep.
Well done with that, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I mean, yeah, I grew up Catholic. I know the entirety of Ave Maria.
I don't, so... Well done. Très bien.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedicta tu es ventris tu in Jesus.
Latin, right?
Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, yes.
Yeah. So...
Ora pro nobis peccatoribus.
Anyway, thank you guys for listening in. If you guys liked what you've been hearing from us, make sure to follow us wherever podcasts can be found. We are on Spreaker, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And if you guys want to listen to all of our episodes right from the very beginning, you can find the full playlist on YouTube, on my personal YouTube channel at Anime Ref Productions. The link for that is in the description of this episode, as well as others. If you guys want to support the show in any way, shape, or form, please consider pledging to our Patreon or donating to our Ko-fi page, links of which are also in this episode's description. You can find us on social media at General Geekery on Instagram and at Gen Geek Podcast on Facebook and Twitter. And if you guys want to follow each of us respectively, you can check Hannah out on social media at Pythian Legume, and you can check me out on social media at Ryuzaki NK7. You can also find us playing games on Twitch. Hannah appears on Loaded Dice Adventures, as well as myself on Wednesdays on twitch.tv Loaded Dice Adventures. And you can also check me out on my personal Twitch channel at Ryuzaki NK7, where I do my own streams, our live episodes of the General Geekery podcast, as well as Hannah's playthroughs on Inepticon. And I think that's going to be it. Guys, this has been episode 111 of General Geekery. 11T1. For Hannah Kubiak, I'm Donald Kaczynski, and until next time, guys, I am Vengeance. I am Geekery.
I am Vengeance.
I guess I am Vengeance.
Ave Maria.
Anyway, always remember to keep your geek on.
Always.
Clink, clink.
Clink, clink. That was such a nice little clink. Clink, clink.
Bye, guys.